Hey guys, Ducati came to Utah for their Ready for Red event where they brought the V4R. Spoiler alert, it was a very beautiful bike. Anyways, Harrison Eurosports hosted it. They had appetizers, they threw a heck of a party, they had a DJ and an open bar, which if you're from Utah, it's very much appreciated. So thank you very much for being an awesome host and inviting us. Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the bike. Hey guys, I want to know what you guys think about those winglets. They are obviously a source of contention. I think the general consensus is that this bike is absolutely stunning, but they definitely stick out, and for I think a lot of people, they stick out like a sore thumb. I'm a little bit on the fence. In person, the bike is just so stunning and so well put together that the overall package just looked really good to me, but I'm not convinced, and honestly, I'm a little worried about winglets making it into street bikes in general. I don't like how they look on the Aprilia RS-V4. I'm worried about these things trickling down and just making all bikes in general look ugly. I know that Ducati, their design, they come out with sexy stuff, but even here it's a little bit risky. The second thing that gets a lot of attention is that dry clutch. And it's one of those things that you either hate or you're okay with, maybe you love it. I'm excited that they brought it back because Ducatis used to have it. And I'll admit, when it comes to the Ducati sound, it wasn't something that I always loved. Like, I remember when I was a kid watching The Matrix, Trinity gets on that Ducati, she launches off the top of that big rig, and then all of a sudden the sound didn't match with what I was expecting. And so I can understand that. If you haven't listened to one in person, the closest thing I can relate it to is like when you go to the drag strip. The first thing that really grabs your attention, it's not the cars launching down the drag strip, it is the feel of that engine. When those cars line up, you can feel it through the pavement and you can feel it in your chest. And it's a little like that when someone turns on a Ducati, people look at you like you are out of your mind to be getting on this thing. And so if you've ever felt that and you appreciate the emotion that's delivered, then it's something that you fall in love with. And so the dry clutch, it's a unique sound. I mean, it's hard to argue that marbles rattling around in a tin can sound really good. The only other comparison I can make is that this bike is that high-heeled, sexy red dress you bring to a party. You're not worried how she comes off and whether other people appreciate what she has to say. So my point, it's a sexy bike. A rattling Yamaha sounds broken. A rattling anything sounds broken. A rattling Ducati coughing and spitting is just dirty sex. So before I ask you a purchasing question, I have to say I was really shocked by this bike. I wasn't shocked because of the horsepower and the technical specifications and what we saw in the headlines. I was shocked that Ducati made it in this form at all. And what do I mean by that? I mean, Ducati didn't impair what was offered for the regular V4 bike. They knew that they would make a bike for WSBK, that it would be limited in CC and price. They knew they would have to put out as much technology as possible under that $40,000 limit, which meant very small margins. They didn't rely on the street user to cover those costs. They could have downgraded the street version to a 998cc version, delivered a little less horsepower that was probably more on par with the S1000RR. But I think maybe they were expecting the S1000RR to make the kind of punch that it did when they first came out with it. So I think they knew they had to just come out with a bike that hit really hard. And what they delivered was an 1103cc engine. You know what they say, there's no replacement for displacement, but what that leads to is more reliability because the engine isn't spinning so fast. And they came out with that. The regular V4 is a fantastic bike with a lot of torque. They didn't compromise that because they knew they were going to make something special for the WSBK variant. They could have easily done that, came out with a 998cc engine with a little bit less horsepower, and they would still sell. And what's even better is that the V4R has a decent warranty. It has the same warranty as the regular V4 spec bikes. And not only that, The valve adjustment is 15,000 miles. It's not like the old 7,500 miles. And I mean, this is an exotic bike, exotic materials, and it's the only one in the lineup. It's definitely unique. So that leads me to my purchasing question. If you're in the market, you walk into the showroom and there's a Speciale and there's a V4R, what one do you buy? Because the price is pretty close. The Speciale is limited to 1,500. It's not wrapped out as much. It's definitely more street capable. It has the wet clutch. It has the electronic suspension. The V4R doesn't have that. The V4R has the dry clutch. It's going to be way more difficult on the street. It doesn't have the electronic suspension, but it does have all the other electronic goodies, such as the ride mode, the power mode, the Bosch cornering ABS, the traction control, the wheelie control, the slide control. It's got the engine braking control. So what would you get? So for me, because I'm really good at making decisions I regret, I would get the V4R. I'd ride it on the street. The clutch would be grabby. It would probably burn me, but I'd love every second of it. Go ahead and tell me what bike you'd get. Thanks for watching my video, and thanks to Harrison Eurosports in Sandy, Utah for being awesome hosts. I'll see you guys in the comments section in the next video.